the bat. They don't want to deal with that in any form whatsoever. TF also banned out a popular Dade pick. And then Thresh being taken out, and will they first pick that Nami?
Now in the last game, Blue did ban out the Shyvana and the Jax against Shy. He did put him on the Mundo. They're going to try and take away Lulu, but this is interesting because Soraka is still up, and so is Mundo. And Blue has been known to do things like play ultra healing comps with Kog'Maw.
No.
With the Rylai's Soraka on Dade in the mid lane.
This is true. There we go. Soraka already prepared.
It's coming, Chobra.
Well, if you want to run through the picks and bans all throughout, I'll be preparing my voice for the next 45 minutes or plus 60 minutes as we look at this team comp form. Right before our eyes, Soraka picked. And then there is the Lee Sin for some secure engage and or disengage. And Spirit, of course, just a very aggressive jungler. We saw that he had a 19 KDA in that last game, and he's performed quite well throughout the season himself.
So Lulu taken away, and of course Acorn has been using that just over and over again, used it multiple times in the Champions Spring Final and in the last game against Frost as well. And there is a switch up to the Nocturne, so I'm beginning to think that Lee Sin, I think it's a much better decision. Swift is too good on that champion to let it go over. The plays he can make in the early game are pretty ridiculous. And Lucian may be the takeaway. A bit of a safer, more poke-oriented AD carry instead of that Twitch. Twitch still on the board, but Deft, honestly, not the best Twitch player.
Yeah. We'll probably see that Kog'Maw again from him, especially, but the Twitch gets locked in from CJ, so especially with that Twitch now picked, Samsung doesn't even need to rush that Kog'Maw. Deft's
on Kog'Maw Mundo.
How about Urgot? I'd be okay with just infinite mana Urgot with that Soraka, get all the heals, just poke all day, and then dive in with the heal on him from Soraka. That could be pretty reasonable, but that's just been kind of what Deft likes to play around with in terms of highlights. We'll see that Kog'Maw most likely, and then if we see the Mundo there, he flashed over that Mundo for a split second. And Varus has been a staple Samsung pick.
Really just a staple Deft pick. He's been the only one that's been playing this champion so far this season, but he has won a game actually with it in Champions. He played it, did quite well, but it is a little bit oddball. And I believe that game Hart also did play Soraka support.
I think so.
Now, Dade has played Ryze mid, so these picks right now for Samsung Blue are incredibly ambiguous.
Yeah.
Both Hart and Dade have played Soraka. I think it's going to be a Soraka support here just because of the Varus pick and the fact that that does give you very good sustain and poke with the Varus in the laning phase. Now, they may be guessing this as well. Of course, the support Vel'Koz could be risky.
Yeah, support Vel'Koz is always a high risk but very high reward pickup. Morgana would be too safe of a pick, in my opinion.
Now, they also picked the Ryze because Acorn can play that in the top lane, but at the same time, Dade has played it against LeBlanc. LeBlanc is still available. CoCo does like to play LeBlanc.
Yes.
So this is actually a very interesting, flexible pick ban phase from Samsung Blue, and it really is leaving Frost guessing right here.
Yeah, you see them cycling through all these other possibilities. Gonna go with Leona and then an Irelia.
Okay, so this means probably that Dade is going to play Ryze in the mid lane because Irelia is very good against Ryze in a 1v1 matchup. And Acorn in Champions was 6-0, 100% win rate on Renekton. It has been more or less his go-to top laner if we look at the entire scope of this spring. And I don't think they're going to play the Ryze in the top lane. They don't want that against the Irelia. So it will be a lock-in on Renekton onto this Irelia in the top lane. And wow, I think Blue just totally mind-gamed CJ Frost.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it through their highlights. They were considering things very seriously just all throughout the board. And MadLife now talking to his team about how to run through this game, but Blue kind of going back to some older roots.
I think that was just an incredibly intelligent pick base from Blue. I'm actually very impressed by that. Just because they did pick a bunch of flex pick champions.
Yeah.
And then they shuffled them in a really intelligent way that up until the last, Frost couldn't get it. They tried to make sure they got the Ryze versus Irelia matchup in the top lane, but then the Renekton comes in at the last second. Dade We'll see how he does against the Lulu. It's not going to be the same as a LeBlanc, but the thing is, Dade, when he did play Rise in the last game of the Champions Spring Finals up against LeBlanc, he was able to catch LeBlanc coming in with the W, but most importantly was that he wasn't poked out of lane very much by the LeBlanc. He played a passive early game laning phase in mid, and then transitioned into being a total monster by the end.
Yep, so we'll see how he plays against Lulu, who's going to give him a little bit more trouble in terms of poke and pressure.
The nice thing, though, is if they get the 1v1, this Renekton is going to be pressuring in the Aurelia early, and so that may relieve some of the jungle pressure from the mid lane.
Very true. So a very intelligent and kind of sly pick and bam phase coming out from Samsung Blue. They only need to win one more game on the side of Samsung to head into the finals against SKT T1. Frost, can they tie it up 1-1 to try to go for a 3-game win streak to move on to the finals for the entire CJ Entus organization here in Masters 2014? This may be match point for CJ, everyone. Let's get ready and jump right into set number 2. CJ once again on the blue side with MadLife starting all wards. Samsung fans just look super happy and relaxed.
So, yeah, very interesting. As you said, all wards start here from MadLife. They may be trying to dodge this lane. See what their intentions are going in. Now, they are going to have a lot of armor and poke with the Soraka support pick. Acorn is going to want to get into the 1v1. And with the heal, you think that Samsung would be able just to hold their own in a 2v2 and then take Acorn with an advantage. Now, Acorn has gone for the teleport Renekton. Haven't seen this in a little bit here in Korea, and there is Space.
Oh, Space jumps in with the ambush to spot Acorn first. His teammates a little bit behind to make sure they don't get spotted. Put some damage onto Acorn.
Yeah, nice hail of arrows. Just to prevent any follow-up, Acorn will just go ahead and recall. They do see this invade, tagging for some vision right there so they can watch how the warding unfolds. And not much being dropped pink ward, so it will be an invade, and it looks like CJ will send their duo up into the top lane. And this is going to be red. Oh, wow, this is a really weird level 1 from Frost.
Yep, they just put down 2 wards and then back off with a pink ward there in the jungle, ready to greet Spirit as he runs through. Now they will cancel some of the recalls, just the dual lane going down to that bottom lane. And looks like they'll get the 2v1.
Now this is a bit of a bind because Aurelia is very item dependent, and just a little bit of harassing right there. I'm not sure. I actually think that Deft should have been standing in that brush as well. But Aurelia is very item dependent as a champion, and you really want to get that Trinity Force for a power spike as fast as possible. And it does delay a little bit, and in these situations, sometimes Aurelia can just never become useful.
This is very true. You miss that timing window, and it could go on forever. Heart's going to get caught a little bit by Swift, but we'll just be able to spot both Shy and Swift here and may start harassing them on this blue buff. That's going to be annoying, especially with that star call.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to their own red instead. Spirit is going to try and 3-buff this. Now, they have a ward, but with the AD carry on that top side of the map, they're not really going to be able to do anything about it.
All right, so Samsung will steal both blues while CJ will secure both reds.
Yeah. It's a kind of odd level 1, but I guess it'll work. So jungler's going kind of cross map, an X pattern, and then Heart returning up to the top side. Deft will hit level 3 already. They're starting to push this in. They want to get some damage with the 3-wave before heading back down.
With that star call and then the piercing shot, they should have quite a bit to work with. And as you mentioned, Deft got some nice solo lane experience as Heart went around for harass. He's looking pretty good on his experience level. Picks up the last CS and then actually missed it, the very last one, but they will start beating down on this tier 1 and top lane. Spirit, meanwhile, jumping through, goes for the white and also gets some vision for his team.
Yeah, getting some early damage down onto the turret. Now, compare this to what Space and MadLife are doing. Space has decided just to freeze down here into this bottom lane, so they're trying to deny Acorn any experience and keep him in the jungle. Now, Aurelia just not as efficient a jungler as Renekton either. So Shy will be taking a little bit more of a beating right there. And actually a recall coming. So look at what Samsung Blue is doing. They have they've taken the wave, the third wave of the game, and they've shoved it into the turret so that they bounce it off the tower. And this is because Frost is freezing right now. So what's actually going to happen is that Acorn, since he was jungling on the safe top side of the map, he goes down, puts down a ward, and he's going to be able to farm up in this top lane, while we do see Deft and Heart going down for the 2v2. So by doing this, and by Frost actually freezing, Samsung Blue has been able to get the Renekton Aurelia lane. So this is really good wave pressure, and by not pushing in, I think that was a big mistake from Frost, because now they've ended up with the lanes they didn't want.
Yep, Deft and Heart will just take some time to pick up the white on their way down. Of course, they have the heal from Soraka. Swift was hanging around for a possible gank, but he decides that's enough time spent. We'll go to the double golems.
And look at that, Shy was just pushed out of the wave. Man. This is a really bad situation, but you have to hand it to Samsung Blue. And this right here is why lane swaps are so awesome. I know a lot of people don't like lane swaps. They don't think they're very exciting. But it's a matter, look at that. And Shy gets chunked out, Acorn hits 4. If you think about the intelligence and the planning that has to go into getting this, and the mistakes that are made, like Twitch freezing that bottom wave, you really begin to understand how many different scenarios play out. And this, to me, is like the most exciting aspect of League of Legends, because it's so insanely diverse in terms of what you can do, and the strategy is at such a high level that you can really see the beauty in what Samsung Blue is doing here.
And we do have a pause. Seems like possibly CoCo having some port issues.
Well, he's dreaming. But you know what they say. Wake me up before you CoCo.
Yes, yes, that is what they say. So they're checking CoCo's audio jacks, it seems. And we'll wait around to make sure all things are okay for CoCo. And it says, well, it's funnier in Korean because it's the same sound as Dade. So Dade is everything works out. So no matter what Dade does, it's all Dade. And so everything's fine when Dade does it. Only in the spring, though. Happens all the time in the springtime.
It'll be very interesting to watch Dade's career this year and see if he can play a little bit more consistently over the course of multiple seasons.
I mean, if he does, it's really impressive what he's managed to do in the comeback of his career. And if he can make it to Worlds and perform at the level everyone expected him to last year, or even stronger this year, I guess, it'll be quite shocking, but very impressive to all fans around the world.
Yeah, indeed, and it's going to be fun, and it's if Samsung makes it to the finals, you gotta be very excited about Dade versus Faker. You have to be so excited about that.
Yeah, that would be, especially when Faker was picking Dade's champions at All-Star, kind of poking some fun at him, being like, "You're not the only one. I'm still around. My team was we were just in a slump. We're doing okay."
So we're going to look at some Masters information right there. Of course, June 8th, the date. Yep. And SKT T1 versus whoever wins tonight.
Yeah, and for the Korean fans, you can buy it on that website. But for all of us foreign fans watching, if you're going to be in Korea, you can head over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/OnGameNetGlobal, or OGNGlobal.wordpress.com for some more information on what you can exactly get in that ticket package, which is up for $24.99 US. And it looks like things you can win if you're present at the venue include quite some nice things, such as a 1-year voice and unlimited voice text. I mean, this is of course if you're living in Korea, but voice text and data plan from SKT, since they're the main sponsor.
Wow, I would love that.
That's actually pretty great. And then there's all sorts of like smartphone giveaways and signed gear giveaways. Of course, they will be from the T1 players. Again, SKT, that main sponsor here. And then tons of like skin and champion codes, and some $5 gift cards.
Good times.
Yeah, it says they're also giving away the latest watch. So the upgraded watch player from Najin Shield will be given away for his 5 months.
He's even more handsome. We didn't think that was possible, but they actually have made a more handsome watch.
Yeah. So that'll be a good giveaway at the finals. I think that's the main one here. Forget the one-year plan. Everyone's going to be coming for the watch. And as we head back into the game, we just saw Shy did go back. Meanwhile, a fight breaks out in bottom. We see flashes from both Space and Deft. Space not able to pick up the kill, and Deft responding with a nice long-range piercing arrow for some damage onto Space. Meanwhile, a quick dive as Shy made the mistake of teleporting onto that tower when Spirit was around.
Yeah. I really don't have any... Oh, wow. Swift actually managed to kill Deft under the tower, but there is a 0 HP teleport from Acorn. Okay,
that is the gutsiest teleport.
Interesting teleport choices being made this game so far.
I mean, you got to give this one to Shy. He didn't know Spirit was around, although he could have guessed, of course. A nice stun from Acorn to start things off. Tanks the tower for his teammate. Meanwhile, let's see. We won't be able to see how Swift responded as we see some lanes equalizing here. Ooh, Spirit almost tanked Shy. Shy, I'm sure, was a little bit scared of that. That tower is just waiting to be taken down. Acorn will go home after farming a little bit of that wave as Deft returns to that bottom lane.
I guess Acorn was very confident in Heart's ability to heal him as he teleported back down there. He did pick up some extra farm, so...
Worked out?
Well, I guess you could say that. I don't know if I would say that.
Spirit's going to show up for a gank here in mid lane. Dade blows Ghost to catch up. CoCo will have to use his Wild Growth, but doesn't use his flash just yet. Dade goes a little bit under tower to get another overload onto CoCo.
Yeah, but look at this timing, though. They pushed CoCo out of lane with the all-in right before the blue buff should come up here.
And Spirit already moving down, or moving up into that top lane. He's going to be spotted by the tower and the minions, but he's going to wait around. That tower is so low. Acorn and Spirit looking for a dive here. Spirit's just going to go and walk up, take the tower, and they get the stun onto Shy. Shy, no minions to jump on. Acorn picks up another kill, or one of his kills, as Spirit picked up the first blood.
The planning between Acorn and Spirit right there was just so good.
Yeah.
And abusing the fact that the teleport was used on the tower the first time, and the second time, I mean, Spirit just walking up, face-tanking a shot, punching it once, and then getting the kill. And Shy playing a little bit recklessly, and this just goes to show how good Samsung Blue is at playing out the lane swap meta right now. They know how to punish you. They know how to adapt on the fly to get the scenarios and the lanes they want, and this is just scary. Samsung Blue, wow, are they good in this meta right now.
And we're going to see another fight happen in the bottom lane. Heart will flash away from that cast from Space. So Swift just going to back off. MadLife has to dodge that arrow from Deft. And Swift hasn't had as much of an impact this game. Of course, got that early kill in the bottom lane, but that's about it. As Acorn, now that he's gotten that kill and assist, also some extra CS, he feels comfortable roaming around as he usually does.
So the interesting thing about Samsung Blue's composition is that their primary engage is actually Varus ult. So we really have to pay attention as this game unfolds as to how well Deft is going to be able to hit his R, because the other engage is secondary. It's going to be the Renekton E, it's going to be the Rune Prison from Rise, and so it's really crucial that Deft be able to land a difficult skill shot here. Otherwise, his team isn't going to be able to fight. And his team is really built for that 5v5 engage as well.
Spirit going to be chased out of the enemy jungle as Space shows up with ambush. MadLife, of course, spotted by a ward in the jungle, but Spirit will return right away. Pretty confident in his ability to fight. He is level 6 while Swift is level 5. Swift does not get the red buff. Smite a little bit too early. Spirit will steal it with the smite. Space tries to catch up, but Acorn shows up. Spirit gets a steal and a kill, while Acorn just says hello to the double golems.
And there we go, Dragon as well. So Samsung Blue just taking everything on the map right now. Dade zones out CoCo, trades a little bit with him, and look at that. TP comes right back up for Acorn. They timed that out. So Samsung Blue didn't have the TP, so they went down to go ahead and get the Dragon. Also, Shy was slow pushing the top wave, but the timing was such that Acorn's TP came up right as that wave hit the turret, so he gets all the farm, all the XP. It's really difficult to say how this game could be going better for Samsung Blue.
Yeah, very impressive. And that fan says she actually came from America to watch Samsung play. Still jet lagged, but
That's why I'm here too, actually. I'm here from America to watch League of Legends.
I'm here from America to watch some nice League of Legends too. I'm glad we're all in the same boat here. And CJ now in quite some trouble. There's already a noticeable gold gap in global gold. Acorn just doing much more, or having much more impact here than Shy. And Shy actually going for a Bilgewater first instead of any of those Trinity Force components.
Yeah, you can look at Acorn and Shy right now, and you can say, yeah, they're about even in CS, but it's the kill that Acorn has gotten, the fact that because of what Acorn has done in his map movement, he's been able to actually get top tower and a dragon now, whereas Shy, in order to catch up in CS, has had to just sit there and farm. So Acorn also going to be able to push the wave faster, thanks to the Tiamat. Very interesting that Shy is going Bilgewater this game. Usually we don't see a Blade of the Ruined King first on Aurelia.
This is true. It's not a common item choice. Meanwhile, Swift and Space both show up stealth, but Acorn will just dash away. And Spirit was also nearby, so I don't know if CJ really wanted to fight that when Acorn is level 8 at the moment.
Yeah, level up only, but still pretty problematic. And where are they going to make the play right now? They're trying to get vision down in the bottom side jungle so they can start to put pressure on the tier 1 turret. But Space and Swift reacting quite quickly to this in order to defend it. Deft poke Space a little bit.
Yeah, Deft's been pretty on point with those arrows. And Acorn and Spirit looking for a gank onto Shy. Shy sees them a little bit too late. He does have his flash up. Oh, he dodges away from the stun, brings them down under tower range, but Shy will live, and Spirit will have to safeguard out.
But he can't defend. And in the meantime, CJ has spent so much time just running around the map right now trying to defend that Swift is going to have to get into the lane. Well, actually they're recalling, whereas Acorn sticks around right now.
Yep, Acorn feeling pretty confident. We do have Shy's teleport up, but Swift is there to pick up the minion wave, so he will walk back into lane. Bottom, we saw MadLife trying to start a fight. They don't get the initiation. Space, in fact, gets poked out a little bit on the return.
Yeah, Deft and Hart just happy to farm up right now. They know they have a very comfortable lead for 12 minutes in. And he's just going to go for probably that Bloodthirster, followed up by the Last Whisper for increased poke damage.
Yeah. It's going to do a lot of good for Samsung here in that mid-game. Dade, as we mentioned, has just been quietly farming up in that mid lane. In fact, he's farming up better than CoCo's Lulu. Of course, he's had that tier and the Catalyst for a little while. And Spirit on the standby for a lane gank here against CJ, but Swift also here to make it a 3v3. Now, we do have some of that hard CC from MadLife, but lots of heals from Hart coming in, and Spirit rather will leave. So now it's a 3v2.
Yep, it's just a farm game right now for Samsung Blue. They've got the edge they want. They know they're going to outscale their opponents, so the ball is really in Frost's court to overcome this extremely large deficit, and Spirit is just Kha'Zix hunting right now.
That's cruel. He's just sticking around in the enemy jungle, doing nothing else but waiting for Swift to walk by. He saw Swift clearing that ward, but decides it's taking too much time. Spirit wants to go do something else, got a little bit bored, will be spotted on his way into that mid lane. Shy gets in a little bit of a duel with Acorn. Don't think he really wanted that one. Acorn will chase him away.
Yeah, they're trying to move over. They're going to find a pink ward right there. Oh, wow, going in.
Yeah, Spirit very confident in Dade's ability to respond. Dade did blow his ghost, though.
Yeah, that was a little weird. Goal is ult as well, just to go ahead and take this blue out as fast as possible. Hart and Deft, in the meantime, going to pull the blue on the other side of the map and try and take that away.
But Dade didn't get the blue from CJ, so they will have to save their own blue for Dade. Shy gets tagged by Spirit. He will get doped. Trying to turn things around as Swift shows up, but Swift just doesn't have the damage on this Dominus-activated Renekton. Meanwhile, a big fight against Hart. It's a 3v2 for the time being. Hart able to flash out. Will CJ secure the blue? They do, but Dade shows up. MadLife, Wild Growth on him. He lives for now. He flashes away from the Overload, and Acorn chases through, gets Meek, gets the stun onto CoCo. What a slice and dice. Trying to chase onto this Lulu. Lulu will get a nice Glitter Lance, though.
That was such a good teleport play, and meanwhile in top lane, Spirit manages to take down Swift again. Samsung Blue just dominating all over the map right now as they recall. Now look at this. There's the first kill onto Shy. Swift comes in. Heart tries to get over here and cause some commotion. Gets hit by the actual solar flare, but is so tanky with his armor from his heal that he can't quite get killed. Dade flashes over the wall with the rune prison. Now look at the teleport coming in. Oh my, Swift.
Oh wow, yeah, we're just gonna see at that quick little kill there.
Yeah, missed that, but a great teleport from Acorn as well. Getting a kill in the top lane and then finding one on the other side of the map as well. 2-0-2. There's a reason why this guy is 6-0 on Renekton over this season.
And that slice and dice zigzag onto CoCo to catch up to MadLife. Just good plays all around. Dade had to stay behind to take out space. So CJ getting taken apart in a 1-7 kill score. Already a 6K gold lead for Samsung Blue at only 16 minutes.
And what's so impressive about this is just Frost being they're just losing in terms of strategy, basically. They played the lane swap significantly worse, and now the top laner is in such a vulnerable position that he could just be repeatedly dived by Acorn and Spirit, and there's nearly no way for Shy to get back into this one. And it's, yes, he had some risky teleports, but it was a sequence of events that Samsung Blue used to shut Shy down and to deny him, and to make sure that Acorn had a farm and level advantage that allowed this to happen. So just really good play. And this is the reason why Samsung Blue won this split, is because they seem to know how to do lane swaps better than anybody else right now.
Yep, how to lane swap 101 by
also,
Samsung
their
Blue.
pick and ban phase, which is brilliant.
Yes, yeah, we did talk about that during the pick ban, where they just kept it totally ambiguous to the very end, threw CJ for a little bit of a loop, and then also in-game managed to turn that lane swap back around to get the lane matchups they wanted. Spirit's been just a huge impact compared to Swift in this game for junglers. 4-0-1 on that Lee Sin. Swift is spotted by a ward here, looking for just counter initiation. Meanwhile, space gets sped up by CoCo, but not going to catch up to Dade anytime soon.
Dade easily sidestepping the Venom cast. And Deft in the meantime starting to power through. He's got the Berserker Greaves, so a little bit of faster attack speed rate. Heart just going for a little bit. Oh, Heart.
Oh, Heart's going to get caught by Space and MadLife. Spirit shows up there. Here's a teleport coming in from Shy, but can Shy turn things around? Not at all. His teammates just melting before his eyes as Deft lands a chain of corruption onto MadLife to secure that one. Samson will just go ahead and dive. A piercing arrow. Tower gets taken out. The tag from Spirit will chase through. There's the red buff. Overload onto Shy. A Rune Prison is all he needs. He'll get it, and the kill goes to Deft with a piercing arrow.
Such a good play. Somehow Acorn dies right there. Not sure what that was about.
Oh, but Swift's going to have to watch out as Dade and Spirit make their way to the mid lane. CoCo up pretty far. The ping is there from Dade. Spirit is more interested on some CS in the race as CJ just runs away to the other side.
Yeah, Acorn just gets caught out, looks like, by Swift, and CoCo moving through the enemy jungle. And Heart, yeah, it looks like you're caught out, but everybody's right there. He dove between two turrets. Okay, that's what happened to him. He did something silly. MadLife, the next target.
Oh, he put a lot of damage onto CoCo, but he will have already used Dominus. He sticks around to clear the ward.
Okay, Acorn, you're ahead, but you're not that ahead.
Just having a little bit of overfun there. But his teammates made some great plays to turn that fight around, and Shy too late to the party. And even then, I mean, the question was, did he have the items to battle through?
And again, we see Samsung Blue getting turrets low, waiting for somebody to try to defend them, and then just killing the turret and then killing the person. Second time this game, top went down that way, bottom went down that way.
Yes.
Wow, Samsung Blue is just, this is just masterful play. This is probably the best play I've seen on anything 4.6 or onwards.
Yeah. So wow, Spirit 6-0-2 is leading in team gold, as our observer is showing us right now. He's taken the blue buffs for himself. And man.
What, you think Rise needs those to scale or something? Please. Also, Dade, by the way, note the Ghost Flash. We didn't talk about that earlier, but Dade loves to do this on TF as well. Just give him that extra mobility in team fights. And we talked about how the only form of engage here is really Varus' R. And so that, at least he can ghost in as well while he's using his own ultimate in order to help close that gap just a little bit better. And he's got the distortion enchantment to help make that happen.
Yeah, I love the early distortion to use it as a form of engage. CJ trying to pincer on to Samsung Blue, but a nice kick from Spirit will not only kick Shy back, but knock out MadLife, who was going to have that long-range initiation. Hart runs forward with his boots of mobility to find himself all alone, but he'll be okay.
Not sure what he was hoping to do right there, but Deft will give a nice little poke with the arrow over the top, and looks like Acorn and Spirit just going to shove out that lane once again. And time to perhaps go back and buy right now.
Yeah, Dade, meanwhile, has free reign over that bottom lane. Already over 200 CS, 104 kill score. He's going to be pretty happy when he heads back home. And looks like now might be the timing for that one. Spirit and Acorn looking to punish Shy once again. Shy seems like he's going to fall for this one. Yet another time. He's very cautious, though. He knows something's up. He hasn't seen Acorn and Spirit in a while. Trying to bait them out. Spirit has vision of Shy, and Spirit's going to go in and kick him backwards. And Acorn gets the stun, but can they chase through? Shy tries to run the other way around. Hart is going to come up and get a nice little silence here onto Shy. There's the star calls coming in. The stun used on Hart. So Shy now really no escape. The Randuin's being used. Just a slow death as CoCo just tries to keep it alive for a little bit longer. Has to flash away. Meanwhile, Dade is going to get caught by 3 people, but a chain of corruption onto CoCo in the jungle. CoCo out of mana, cannot escape. Deft picks up a kill.
And now they're going to collapse on the rest of Frost. Looks like Kha'Zix has to use his ult just to get away safely. Find a pink ward and clear that out as well. And now Samsung Blue has eyes all over the wave, pushing into this tier 2 in the bottom lane. Acorn will shove that up with the help of his tankiness right there. Randuin's already completed onto Spirit. We talked about how much money he has, but it's really unusual to see a Lee Sin with the Randuins at 22 minutes.
I mean, that chase on Shy was just brutal. Shy 0-5 and 0. We just talked about that, Irelia.
You know, I've been saying this, but top lane is not an island anymore. In this lane swap meta, top lane is the position the most dependent on your team's decision making as a whole. And so when you fall behind, another team can just crush you with a snowball like we're seeing here.
Yep. Samsung really made that happen against Shy. No hope for him to find his way in this game at any point, really. And Shy just going to be punished once again. He's not even worth that much gold, guys, but Blue is not going to give up. This does turn into a 4v3 very quickly, though, as CJ comes up with backup. Dade will have to flash over, and there's the teleport coming in for Acorn. Dade's still alive. He finally goes down, but Acorn shows up right in the middle of the fight, gets whimsied, and CJ collapses on a over-eager Samsung Blue.
Well, Shy actually gets a double kill in all of that, which will really help him get back into this game. And yeah, got to give it to Frost right there. They set up a very clever pick. They're like, okay, we know who you want. You want the Shy. You're not going to get the Shy this time.
Yeah, that was actually very witty play coming up from CJ Entus Frost. Swift just tanking him for just a bit longer to ensure that his team can pick up this first tower in the game for CJ.
Acorn is actually... Oh, wow, look at this. He finished Hydra, and then he sold it back and bought Tiamat again. But we'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, just they really baited them hard on this one, and it was a pretty big overextension. Bad teleport coming in from Acorn as well. With Deft in base, I don't know what he thought he was going to do against 5 of them.
Yeah, and Hart flashed over the wall and just left his team to die. Meanwhile, Shy gets caught again. A nice chain of corruption at max range will catch him. Shy trying to just turn around and put some damage onto Deft. He's trying to run away with Tranquil Blades, but not going to get it. And Samsung still hunting out. And, you know, with that double kill, Shy's gold had reset too. So that's pretty good news. Swift has to use his ultimate to run away. Just try to clear that pink ward. And Spirit not giving up. He knows how far ahead he is in this game.
Yeah, everybody looking for a bit of a play, but just clearing out the last line on the minion waves. They've got their eyes set on this tier 2 tower. No need to take any aggressive plays at the moment.
Dade gets stunned with the soul flare. There's the wild growth. He runs down very low to space, and CoCo, MadLife, doing some tanking under the tower to take another tier 1. And Swift will be able to leap out, but will he sacrifice his tier 2 in top? In fact, CJ is just going to respond to early Lich Bane on CoCo to help push towers down. Do they try to trade tier 2 for tier 2? MadLife trying to keep Acorn away. And we are going to see both CoCo and Space get the tower, but can they get out alive? That's the big question right now. And MadLife keeps them distracted long enough, but here comes the 3-man squad. Deft, Heart, and Spirit joining up in the mid lane. Swift shows up too for a little bit of a party. Space and CoCo actually want to start this fight. The cast will not hit, and they get the stun onto Acorn. Not exactly the first target they want to focus down. So both teams will disengage. Shy was looking for a possible flank, but now he's caught out a little bit, and he's going to get caught by Spirit. Acorn flashes over for the stun. Poor Shy, deserted by his teammates in a little bit of an early teleport. And MadLife is just going to walk right up to this angry-looking crocodile, and Spirit will get another Sonic Wave. Acorn is slowed down by the Flask, but Acorn's going to get another stun with MadLife. He'll go down eventually to Spirit and Acorn.
I feel so bad for Shy.
That was one of the saddest moments for any top laner with teleport. It's like, I'm ready to catch all the kills, and lo and behold, you were all left alone in enemy territory.
Well, he's 50 CS down at this point. He has one core item, and look at the item difference between Acorn and Shy right now, and it's pretty clear what's going to happen. Not in the meantime, he goes ahead, pushes down.
Just been farming all day, and look at that, Samsung Blue keeping people at base so Dade can push the wave up, and then they'll all collapse onto this tier 2. A quick tower down as Samsung Blue now over 13, or right around 13k gold lead. CJ.
Ah, yes. And now we begin the baiting of the Baron.
Lovely. CJ Frost really no answer to this game at the moment. 9-0-4 on Spirit's Lee Sin. That is one scary, tanky Lee Sin right now. And we also see the early distortions on Acorn himself. Has that flash for the initiation. Also, the teleport will come up pretty quick.
Indeed. So Frost is trying to push out the wave so that they can have some control, but without taking down that tier 1 in the top lane, that wave is just going to quickly bounce back every time, and there's not really much they're going to be able to do to hold on. They do get a little bit of damage down there onto Spirit. Spirit still is in the lead in terms of gold in this game.
11k, a full K ahead of Dade.
Yeah, Acorn the closest, but he's still got a 300 gold lead on him. This is just a disgusting game from Spirit.
Yeah, he's really made a ton of things happen for Blue right now. I mean, credit to all of them for some great play. Deft landing all of his chains so far, which is not an easy feat, as any AD carry player will let you know.
But it's been pretty crucial, and now Baron Control really going to come through, and they're able to set up some picks. More than likely, probably not going to go ahead and do the Baron. That would be maybe a little bit premature, even though they have some decent sustained damage from Dade here.
Yeah, they're just setting up for a pick right now. They know that Entus Frost is on their back foot.
Well, face checking into Rise or Nectin, not going to do you very many favors.
Oh, and it's going to happen. Frost has to make something happen. There's a voice spike. MadLife just gets caught. There's the wild growth, but only to be used on a dead Leona, as Samsung gets a quick pick, and they will turn right back around. Will they go for the Baron?
Yeah, they still have vision control over the pit, totally, so they'll be able to turn should Frost decide to show up.
I mean, yeah, there's not that long-range solar flare or someone tanky enough to jump in ahead. Oh, nice Sonic Wave for Spirit, and we're going to see a piercing arrow come through. Spirit just flying way away from his team, and Heart will keep people silenced across the wall, keep them annoyed as Swift tries to go in for a steal, but he gets chained by Deft as he tries to leap over the wall. What a play from Deft to secure the Baron for his team. Acorn now chasing away two members of CJ Entus Frost. As Spirit flashes over, he's looking for a Sonic Wave. He doesn't tag Swift, but Blue gets the Baron.
What insane control over Swift. First off, Spirit bounces out of the pit, kicks him away so he can't get in, goes back in using Lee Sin's movement abilities, and then after that, Deft seeing him in the brush, firing off that ult, making sure he stays out of Smite Wave. Not at all a 50-50.
Wow.
Impressive.
That was some great play from both Spirit and Deft. Deft saw him stealth into that brush and just fired away, relying on that lockdown timing. And here is that Gunblade here from Dade.
Well, with the low engage, it does help him engage on the
Yes.
enemy team. So
We've seen that on him before.
yeah, it's primarily for the active.
It's an interesting build, nonetheless, but it's worked out for him before, and I'm sure it's going to do some work in this game. CJ just desperately trying to collect whatever they can from their own jungle before all of their wards most likely get swept out. Spirit has an Oracle lens for his team. He's so far ahead. Shy is just sitting on a ward. Spirit acting as if he's trying to miss on purpose. Acorn goes in and starts the initiation. Look at the health on Acorn with the dominance on top of 3 people. He brings Swift and CoCo very low. Solar Flare used to keep Spirit away, but it took them so much time, and Spirit's just going to go ahead and kick CoCo into the wall for a nice pickup. Space gets locked down by Rune Prison. Dade charging forward, gets some damage onto MadLife. He wants another Rune Prison. He's going to get it under the tower. A double kill for Dade as Blue wipes out 3 members of CJ Frost.
Well, Samsung Blue did get a little sloppy in the mid game despite their tremendous lead, but in spite of that, that's
wow.
the first ult he's missed, I think. But in spite of that, you really have to admire them from the pick ban phase and then the execution. What clarity of strategy Samsung Blue has, and the way they're able to make such good rotations to close out this win. And Samsung, they've got it in the bag.
Yep, they're going to be heading into the finals to meet SKT T1 and Masters 2014 in Korea University's Tiger Dome next week, June 8th. Congratulations to Samsung, a quick 2-0 both days. Just a 4-0 against CJ Entus.